What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. The first thing I want to say before we get into anything here is if you celebrate, I wish you all a very, very happy Thanksgiving to you and all your families. And I certainly hope that you enjoyed this gracious holiday. And I hope that you are thankful for everything that you have in your life. Now, with that being said, it's mock draft time. So after week 11 of the NFL season, I cannot believe it. Super short week, so I'm going to get this out to you guys as soon as possible. This will be a 2-round mock draft with a few trades here and there. Last week I did a 3-round mock draft and you guys absolutely loved it. It killed in the views, in the likes, everything like that. So let's keep that momentum going. So without further delay, I think that we should get into it. But if you do enjoy today's video, please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't so you don't miss more great videos just like this, whether it be NFL Draft Diamond Shorts, whether it be NFL Draft Prospect Profiles, whether it be top 10 positional lists for the 2024 NFL Draft, whatever it may be, I supply it. So make sure that you don't miss out on more great content. Without further ado, pick number 1. Yeah, the Chicago Bears. I think this is pretty straightforward. I'll be honest with you. I've been relatively impressed with Justin Fields. The game against Detroit, I think he played very, very well. I don't think that he was really the reason why they lost. I think they were up, how many points? 12 points with like 3 minutes left or something like that. A disastrous collapse. But honestly, kind of like a double-edged sword if you look at it because, you know, in one way you lost a game that you probably, most teams probably would have won. But at the same time, you know, Justin Fields still looks good. In the loss, you're still losing, so you have 2 top 5 picks as of right now. Number 1 is the Carolina Panthers pick. Number 4 is their own pick. So, you know, the right players are playing well, and you're still getting premium draft capital. So, you know, on one side, you kind of look like, a disaster. On the other side, you're building for the future. So I think this pick is pretty much a no-brainer. I don't think that this is a quarterback. I think it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. When you have the opportunity to draft a generational wide receiver. And I know generational gets thrown around way too often, but I think that there are 2 true generational prospects in this draft class, and that being Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brock Bowers. These 2 guys are probably the closest thing to generational that we're going to see in a draft class. It's a no-brainer for me here at number 1. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. Arizona's in a really weird spot because if Chicago, I feel like it's Marvin Harrison Jr. or bust for them at number 2. If Chicago takes Marvin Harrison Jr. number 1, I think this is an easy trade down spot for Arizona. With all the top quarterbacks left on the board after the number 1 overall pick, I'm sure their phone lines will be really, really busy. So we're going to trade this pick to the New York Giants. So with that number 2 overall pick, a lot of people might think that I'm going to go Caleb Williams. I have in weeks prior, but this past week we saw that a bunch of, Giants personnel was at the North Carolina game. It's been rumored, it's been documented that the Giants have significant interest in Drake Maye. I haven't heard the same thing about Caleb Williams, so if you have or if you have read that, please let me know in the comment section below. But all I've been hearing about is the Giants and Drake Maye. So believe it or not, and this is not a knock against Caleb Williams, I think he's going to be a fantastic NFL quarterback. Maybe it's not a guarantee that he's the first quarterback taken off the board. It's just the way that it looks. I mean, I think both of these guys are a lock to be really top 5 picks, to be quite honest with you. I think it's just a matter of organizational preference, I guess I would say. And I think Drake Maye fits what the New York Giants are trying to do maybe a little bit better than Caleb Williams. So I'm going to go with Drake Maye here at number 2. They get their franchise guy. Essentially, the Daniel Jones contract becomes a 1-year contract after this year. They can move on from him for about $22 million. In 2025, I want to say. So in terms of speaking about quarterback pay, that's really not much. You're getting, Daniel Jones is basically an average quarterback, but you're getting at least a slightly above average quarterback for $22 million. So it kind of cancels out. So I think Drake Maye is going to be the pick here at number 2. Then I think with a new regime coming in, most likely 99% sure that Bill Belichick is going to be out after this year. With a whole new regime coming in, I'm assuming you're going offensive style. Bill Belichick has been a defensive-minded coach for the last 20-plus years in New England. I think you go on the offensive side of the football here. I think it's got to be Caleb Williams. You're bringing in a whole new regime. You're bringing in a GM for the first time in God knows how long. You're bringing in a new head coach in 20-plus years. I think it's time to change it up a little bit, and we're going with a franchise quarterback in Caleb Williams. At number 4, Chicago. Now, you kind of got your pick here of whatever you need. There's certainly needs here. Tackle is a need. Brock Bowers is on the board. That's just a super weapon that, you kind of take, and then you're like, all right, we have a good problem here because we don't necessarily know what to do with him, but we know that we're going to incorporate him in the offense. But I don't think they go here. A little early for an edge rusher for me, for Chicago at least. We'll get to that in a minute. I think this pick is going to be Ola Fashanu. Pretty much, in my opinion, the next safest pick in the entire draft class. A lot of people flip-flop who's, the offensive tackle number 1. Is it Fashanu? Is it Joe Alt? Personally, for me, I think it's Fashanu. I think he is one of those can't-miss guys in this draft class, and I'm going to take him here. Same thing. I mean, do they absolutely need a tackle? I don't. Braxton Jones has done pretty well. Darnell Wright will be entering his second year up until this point in the 2024 draft. I think you take him and, you make him your left tackle and maybe you move Braxton Jones around. I think it's another good problem to have. You obviously need to continue to build the offensive line. It's still been a problem this year. So I think if it's still a problem and we're going all in this year on Justin Fields, you got to make sure that you protect it. Arizona at number 5. This is going to be an edge rusher for me. They have their pick of the litter, exactly what they want. Dallas Turner is here. This is a nice option. Jared Verse, as well, as everyone knows, is my edge number 1 in my class. I'm going to go Alea Tulatu, though. I think he just fits the multiple defensive front that Arizona and Jonathan Gannon are trying to run. They line up, they look like a 3-4. They line up in more of a 4-2-5 hybrid. They're putting linebackers and edge rushers and defensive tackles all over the defensive line. I think Laiatu kind of embodies all of that craziness in one prospect. I feel like he could be a great 3-4 outside linebacker. He could be a great defensive end in a 4-3. I think he's just got the versatility that the Arizona Cardinals are looking for their defensive front at number 5. Tennessee at number 6, pretty straightforward. They're going to get whatever offensive tackle is left, and that just so happens to be Joe Alt, so that's a fabulous thing to run into right there at number 6. At number 7, offensive tackle, edge are certainly in play. But the other generational prospect that I was talking about a couple minutes ago, Brock Bowers, is here. It is a position of need for the Washington Commanders, and I am going to take him. If Sam Howell is your guy, you're going to continue to build an offense around him. And I think starting in this draft with Brock Bowers is pretty much the best way that you could start. I mean, the guy is, like I said, I don't like to throw the generational tag around. I think it's been completely diluted over the past few years. I feel like every prospect is generational in some people's eyes, but Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brock Bowers are the 2 generational prospects in this draft class, and I'm going to go Brock Bowers here. The Atlanta Falcons at number 8. Now, the Atlanta Falcons to me, they aren't in quarterback or bust scenario here. Like I said before, a lot of great guys on the board here that they could take. I do think they ultimately wind up taking a quarterback here. Now, this might be a lot closer than some people think. You could easily make a case for any of these 4 guys fitting in Atlanta's system, especially if they're going to continue to and his Bozell mustache out there. J.J. McCarthy is young, very malleable, still maybe relatively green. I don't think it's the greatest situation for him. Bo Nix could be that guy. That could be a glorified game manager, or he could possibly be, much, much more than that. He could probably do whatever you ask of him. Jaden Daniels seems like the ultimate X-factor type of quarterback. He's made a tremendous jump from last year to this year. He looks like, honestly, the last few weeks, he looks like the best quarterback in the entire class. But I'm still going to go with Michael Penix Jr. here. He's, his play has tailed off a little bit the last couple weeks. You can't expect him to keep that torrid pace up that he had going for God knows how long in this season. I think Michael Penix Jr. still fits exactly what Atlanta needs best out of those 4 guys. But like I said, you could easily make a case for any of those top 4 quarterbacks that are left on the board. But it's going to be Penix for me. At number 9, I'm going with an offensive tackle here. This is pretty straightforward. The line has been pretty much abysmal for the Green Bay Packers this year. They're going to need a massive upgrade and ring in a new era of offensive tackle. David Bakhtiari, I'm assuming, has played his last snap as a Packer. I'm going to go with Talisi Fuaga here. This guy is just unbelievable. I still don't understand how he is rated below Amarius Mims and J.C. Latham. No disrespect to those guys, but Fuaga just has that mean streak in him. He's got that incredible athleticism. Look at I want you to look at Jason Kelsey and how athletic he is for the center position. That's the type of athleticism that Fuaga brings to the tackle position or the guard position. I mean, he's an incredible prospect that still, even though I think that he started off the year rather low on a lot of people's draft boards, he's still not getting as much love. But Fuaga is going to be the pick here for me at number 9. At number 10, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has generated, I believe, their bottom 5 in sack production, pressures, all that kind of stuff this season. I think they need a spark on the edge. I love Dallas Turner, but I don't think this is exactly what they're looking for. I think they're looking for that heavier, that bigger, that more powerful edge rusher, that outside linebacker, that Anthony Nelson prototype, where Anthony Nelson is, I believe he's like 6'7", 282 pounds, something like that. You're getting an incredible athlete in Jared Verse, 6'5", 265 pounds, could probably bulk up to 270 or 272 around that range to play the type of linebacker, rush linebacker that they're looking for. I think this is more of the archetype that Tampa Bay would be looking for in terms of drafting a pass rusher, but I think it has to be done. Their pass rush has been pretty barren so far this year. At number 11, you have my New York Jets. And listen, if I'm the Jets, I'm wheeling and dealing all over this board. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. You have no picks between 11 and, I believe it's 11 and 82 or 11 and 83, something like that. You need to close that gap. Now, it's not going to start right away here. I'm going to make a trade. I think that there is one team that has a surplus of mid-round picks that would love to move up to get a extremely talented weapon here, and that's going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Are going to move up here to number 11. So it's going to be a couple of mid-round picks here and then a mid-round pick next year for the Arizona Cardinals to move up 10 spots to number 11 and trade back with the Jets. And for me, you got that edge rusher that you're so craving for your defensive front. Now you got to go and get a wide receiver, and that's going to be Keon Coleman for me. I think especially if Marquise Hollywood-Brown doesn't re-sign, now you're looking at a Rondell Moore, a Greg Dortch in the slot. You're looking at Michael Wilson, who's really shown some great flashes this season. And then you get another boundary hole. And Keon Coleman is someone that could win down the field. He could win in the middle of the field. He's incredibly physical at the line of scrimmage. I think this would be a perfect wide receiver 1 type of guy for Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. So you move up because he's not going to be there at number 21. Look at how many wide receiver hungry teams there are going to be right in the middle here. I think Arizona just takes their bevy of mid-round picks, they move up and they get their man, and they still hold on to their second-round pick here in this 2-round mock. So it's going to be Keon Coleman here at number 11. At number 12, pretty straightforward. You have the Chargers, who just, besides for the Jets game, don't let that fool you. Their defense is just absolutely atrocious. The secondary, you can argue really anything here. You could argue any of these top 5 corners. You could argue any of these top, well, Cooper DeJean's really more of a safety, but you could argue any of these top 3 safeties as well. But I'm going to go to the cornerback position. McKinstry is the top cornerback rated here in the class. He's my CB1 as well. I'm going to go with McKinstry here. Kool-Aid McKinstry. What a name, by the way. Just a tremendous name. Obviously, Kool-Aid is not really his first name, but we're going to play around like it is for this one. The Rams at number 13. This is a pick that I've made week in and week out. It just keeps falling here, and it's just too perfect. I'm going to add Dallas Turner to that really, really speedy front of the LA Rams. Add just more pass rush and more problems for any opposing team. At number 14, you have the Las Vegas Raiders. Hey, you got a nice bevy of quarterbacks here. Let me tell you, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels. I'm going to hold off on that for now. I'm going to go with the defensive line here. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I know maybe Aiden O'Connell isn't everyone's cup of tea, maybe because he looks like a 10-year-old that just glued a mustache onto his upper lip. But he's not putting up tremendous numbers, but he's got this Las Vegas Raiders team moving in the right direction, playing good quality football, not laughingstock type of football. So this could be last year's Sam Howell, where, you know, they're going to hold on to him for another year. They're going to give him the starting spot next year, and they're going to see how far he could take them, and then maybe evaluate it. Personally, me, I wouldn't do that in this draft class. I think there's far too many talented quarterbacks to be doing something like that. But a lot of Raiders fans kind of love what they see from Aiden O'Connell, and with the football that he's been playing and the Raiders have been playing, it's really kind of tough to argue with that right now. So I'm going to go with Jerzon Newton. I think just upgrading that interior of the defensive line. Jerzon Newton is my best defensive player on my board. The guy is just an absolute wrecking ball. He is one of the best run defenders I've ever seen coming out of college. Not only that, he's a great pass rusher as well. He's just 90 plus rated by PFF on both sides, run defense, rushing the passer as well. He's going to be tremendous. This would be an amazing addition to that defensive line that already has Max Crosby on one side, and hopefully Tyree Wilson will turn it around in year two. And that's just three really, really strong names up front. Indianapolis Colts here, got to be a wide receiver for me. I feel like they're just one wide receiver away from unlocking a really, really potent offense. Hopefully they'll get Jelani Woods back next year as well to be their tight end. He's been injured all season on IR. That's another guy, a 6'7", 6'8" target that you're looking at. They could add another wide receiver. I think they're going to be good for some time. So Rome Odunze is going to be the pick for me. 6'3", 215 pounds, possesses the speed and the physicality to win on the outside down the field. That's exactly what Anthony Richardson, Gardner Minshew, and the Indianapolis Colts are looking for. Number 16, tough pick here, kind of right in the middle. I would love to go corner. It kills me that I'm not going to pick a corner here with Kalen King still on the board. Same thing, edge here. You got Chop Robinson, JT Tuimoloau, Braylon Trice. Got to beef up that offensive line, though. We don't know what the future holds for Garrett Bowles. I think you just got to replace him right now, and that's J.C. Latham. Brick wall of a human being, 6'6", 6'7", 350, 360 pounds. Tremendous football player. He's going to be great as a left tackle in the NFL, and that's exactly what we're getting for Russell Wilson, Sean Payton, and company. Cincinnati at 17, pretty straightforward. You're going to need a wide receiver this offseason. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, the LSU connection. I know that Joe Burrow didn't throw the football to Malik Neighbors, but we're going to say same school connection. It's going to be Malik Neighbors for me. It just seems like such a potent offense. Malik Neighbors is tremendous. And quite honestly, for me, let me just spit this real quick before I make this pick and move on. I think it's weird, in my opinion, that Marvin Harrison Jr. is getting Heisman votes, or one of the favorites to be the Heisman. And then you got guys like Malik Neighbors and Troy Franklin who are putting up outstanding numbers and are not even getting inside the top 10 of the Heisman Trophy race. I get Marvin Harrison Jr. is absolutely incredible, but to me, the numbers are better from these guys. I feel like Ohio State, especially with the defense that they have, if you take Marvin Harrison Jr. out of the equation, they obviously are not the same football team. I still think they would be good. I think if you take Malik Neighbors out of LSU or Troy Franklin out of Oregon, I think they become significantly less potent on offense. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below if these guys are getting shafted in the Heisman Trophy race. No disrespect to Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a obviously amazing player, deserves to be in the Heisman candidacy as well. Just thought I'd spit a little game there for that. Malik Neighbors is going to be the pick at 17. Again, tough for me at number 18. There's so many amazing players at positions in need here. You have Cameron Kinchins, Tyler Nubin here at the cornerback position, Cooper DeJean, which is probably going to be a safety, Nate Wiggins, Kalen King. Wide receiver, you still have Emeka Ibuka, Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, Troy Franklin, like I just mentioned as well. But I'm going to go with the corner position. I really think that this position has been just destroyed through really every aspect that you could think of. You're thinking of injuries, you're thinking of free agency, trades. They traded for Rasul Douglas for a reason. Rasul Douglas had like the greatest game of his career against the Jets, go figure. I think he had 2 picks and a fumble recovery or a forced fumble. He played amazing, but I think you need another cornerback there. Just really any addition to the secondary, in my opinion, will do. But I think Kalen King, if he's here at 18, I think that is easily the pick. Number 19, you have the New Orleans Saints. Time for an upgrade in that secondary there. This pick is going to be Cooper DeJean for me. Just a guy that he's listed as a corner here, but he's going to be a safety. Can play in the slot as well. He's just a really nice chess piece that Dennis Allen can move all over his defense. Extremely athletic, extremely productive as well. It's a shame that he's missing the rest of the season with an injury. If you guys haven't seen him play, watch his highlight tape. He is unbelievable. Great player as well. So DeJean's going to be the pick here for me at 19. At 20, another tough pick here. I have to go quarterback. I know Josh Dobbs has looked really good in the 3 games that he's played for the Minnesota Vikings, but is Kevin O'Connell going to be willing to put all of his eggs in one basket with Josh Dobbs? Are they going to re-sign Kirk Cousins? We don't know any of these questions yet. But what I know is that we have 3 elite quarterback prospects sitting on the board here. I know people are going to write in the comment, LOL, he said J.J. McCarthy and Bo Nix are elite. They are in terms of prospects. I'm telling you, they are. And that's why I'm going to go with J.J. McCarthy here. The reason I'm going with McCarthy over someone like Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, but we haven't, to me, I feel like we haven't seen the best of J.J. McCarthy yet. Like I mentioned before, he's only 20 or 21 years old. He's relatively green. We still haven't seen him really let it loose. And we've seen some absolutely tremendous throws in his arsenal. He's got the arm strength, he's got the whip, he's got the quick release, he's got the accuracy downfield, the ball placement, some of the best ball placement you'll see in college football. I feel like if he falls into a system with a quarterback guru like Kevin O'Connell, with weapons like Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, I mean, you're setting him up for success right away with a top 5 offensive line. I feel like this would be the quarterback to put in that situation, would be the perfect quarterback to put in that winning situation. So it's going to be J.J. McCarthy for me, only because I feel like with someone like Bo Nix, maybe with Jaden Daniels, even though they're getting better, this is the best that we're going to see from these guys. They're already playing the top football that we could see from them. And that's no disrespect to them. That's just the way that I feel. I feel like Michigan has held J.J. McCarthy back a little bit. He does well with what they ask him to do, but they don't ask him to do a whole lot. He's just got all the talent in the world, all the potential in the world. And I think that if you got a head coach like Kevin O'Connell to teach him, I think that's the best long-term plan. The highest ceiling is J.J. McCarthy. My New York Jets at number 21, much more palatable pick here at 21 with a little bit more draft capital in your pocket. And it's going to be Amarius Mims. Limited tape on Amarius Mims in 2023. He's been injured, but he's still a fantastic player. 6'6", 330, 340 pounds. Tremendous athlete, 5-star recruit as well. This is exactly what the New York Jets need, especially if you watch the past few games. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Seattle at pick number 22, and it's going to be Jaden Daniels. This pick just seems destined to me every time that this mock draft comes up. I try and make a different pick. I try and say to myself, oh, maybe I could justify this. But if Jaden Daniels is here, I mean, we've seen, honestly, Geno Smith has held this. I mean, and the injuries to the offensive line, Geno Smith, in my opinion, has held this team back from being more successful than they are so far this year. He has not played well outside of really a cookie-cutter game against the Washington Commanders and then a game against the Arizona Cardinals. Against better secondary competition, he really hasn't looked great. So I think Geno is regressing from maybe last year was a one-year wonder. I mean, it was a fantastic year. It got him $105 million, and that's great for Geno as well, and he's still a great quarterback. He's still someone that I wouldn't really mind parading out there for a start here and there, especially if Jaden Daniels isn't ready, but you have no future at the quarterback position. Jaden Daniels is going to be the pick. And then speaking of quarterbacks here, I'm going to make the plunge. I make the same pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers every week. But let me tell you something. Even after firing Matt Canada today at the time of recording, I still don't know if I believe in Kenny Pickett. Now, I'm going to look like a real horse's ass if Kenny Pickett goes out there on Sunday and he balls out and throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Because then maybe we would know, hey, Matt Canada was the real problem. I still think it's a multi-layered problem in Pittsburgh. I think that Kenny Pickett just really can't get it done. I really think so. I think that he is part of the problem. Matt Canada's terrible play calling was a huge part, more like a 70-30 thing. But I don't think that Kenny Pickett can get it going. So he's going to have to show me something. Right now, it's going to be Bo Nix. I feel like Bo Nix could really take this team just into the next level. I mean, this team consistently competes and wins games that they shouldn't with horrible quarterback play, with horrible play calling. Imagine if they had just someone that could even be a halfway decent game manager. They would be 14-3 at the end of the year almost every year. I think Bo Nix is that guy, especially since he's really the last of the elite quarterback prospects in this class. I think Pittsburgh kind of has to take the plunge here because the next few years, I don't know if they're going to be able to get away from Kenny Kitten Mittens as fast as they think they are. So it's going to be Bo Nix at number 23. At 24, I was kind of confused. The Houston Texans are rolling. They're firing on all cylinders. They're fantastic so far this year. D'Amico Ryans should be a prime Coach of the Year candidate. I'm going to add to the defensive line. I'm not going to add to the interior I really like Braylon Trice on the outside. Jonathan Grenard is going to be a free agent. There's another free agent as well. I'm drawing a blank on it. To be quite honest with you, I'm not even going to try. I don't want to sound like an ass, but I'm drawing a blank on who it is exactly from the defensive end position. But Braylon Trice is someone that I really like. Great size, humongous arms, like tremendous arm length as well. Someone that I feel like could be a really nice yin to Will Anderson's yang, essentially, is what I'm going to say. You know, when you got a young head coach that's defensive minded, I think you just got to add as many defensive pieces as possible. Kind of like what San Fran did with D'Amico Ryans as the defensive coordinator. They're doing here in Houston with him as the head coach. Braylon Trice is the pick for me at 24. 25, you have Miami, another pick that I make every single week. I'm going to continue to make it. Patrick Paul seems like a perfect fit on the offensive line for the Miami Dolphins. At number 26, you have the Dallas Cowboys here. And I'll be honest with you. I've been saying for quite some time that the Dallas Cowboys need an upgrade in the secondary. I don't think that's really the case anymore. Deron Bland is playing arguably Defensive Player of the Year football. 4 defensive touchdowns, 6 picks. He's been incredible. He's only given up 1 touchdown so far this year, and that was to Devontae Smith, and honestly, that's pretty understandable. When Trayvon Diggs comes back healthy, I think we're good in that area right now. But I'll tell you what, Michael Gallup is probably trending towards being a cap casualty next year, and Brandon Cooks has 1 year left on his deal. I think we need to dive into the realm of the wide receiver pool here. What do you think? I like Adonai Mitchell here out of Texas. A.D. Mitchell, 6'4", about 200 pounds, super speedy on the outside. I feel like this would just be a great 1-2 punch with CeeDee Lamb, who could literally win at every level of the defense. So you don't really need that stark contrast between like a possession-based guy that's going to win in the intermediate or someone that could fly and win downfield. You got a little bit of both because CeeDee could win downfield. I feel like he just chooses not to half the time. But you got Adonai Mitchell on another side that could definitely win downfield. You got another young option, Jake Ferguson, in the middle. You're cooking with gas. I like A.D. Mitchell here at number 26, for the Dallas Cowboys. 27, you have the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to pick Graham Barton here. I like this pick a lot because of the versatility that Barton can bring. As you see here on the board, offensive tackle and interior offensive line are 2 of the 5 top needs for the San Francisco 49ers. And Barton has experience at right tackle. He's got experience at right guard as well. I feel like he could play all 5 positions. Incredible athlete, a real mean offensive lineman as well. I think this would just be a classic San Francisco 49ers pick. Jacksonville at number 28. Got to go with a corner here, especially with this guy left on the board. Nate Wiggins seems like just an automatic pick here. With Trey Herndon becoming a free agent after this year, you have Tyson Campbell on one side, Darius Williams in the slot, Nate Wiggins on the other side. That's a really nice trio that you're looking for in Jacksonville. At 29, simple. I mean, I wish every one of these picks could be a wide receiver for KC, especially after what we saw Monday Night Football. It's going to be Emeka Egbuka here. Pretty straightforward. The Detroit Lions here at number 30, I'll be honest with you. I'm not in love with any prospects that are on the board for Detroit. Detroit seem like a team that don't have any glaring needs, like at all. Like, I feel like they're super strong in a lot of areas, and even the weaker areas, they're still relatively strong. I think they could afford trading out of the first round. And I think that there's a team that's waiting on the screen that's a little scared of losing out on some of the wide receivers that are on the board, even though they're only a few picks away. We're going to trade this pick to the Carolina Panthers. So Carolina moves into the first round, and they are going to try and get a number 1 type of wide receiver for their franchise quarterback in Bryce Young. And the pick is going to be Troy Franklin. I spoke about him a bunch of times already. I think Troy Franklin has that CeeDee Lamb type of game in him. He's just incredible in the open field. He seems to be able to win on all 3 levels. He's a sensational wide receiver prospect that doesn't get enough love. In a class that's super loaded, he doesn't get enough love, but I think he is one of the absolute best. Troy Franklin is going to be the pick for me, and he automatically becomes wide receiver 1 in Carolina. Pick 31 here for the Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be a secondary pick with A.D. Mitchell off the board and some of these other top wide receivers off the board. I think Baltimore could hold off on a wide receiver at least until the mid-rounds here. With a cornerback class that's not as strong as some other areas in this draft class, I think we have to go with corner here. Denzel Burke, I made this pick a bunch of times in weeks prior. I've strayed away from it the past couple weeks. I'm going to make it again. Just would be a fantastic cornerback too in a defense that's been lights out this season. And then with the last pick in the first round here, I mean, the rich get richer yet again. I don't know how it happens with me all the time, but if you haven't seen Cameron Kinchens play the safety position, you're really missing out on some excellent football. Kinchens is just absolutely sensational. He really is. I thought last year might have been a little bit of a fluke because he played so well. He's playing arguably just as good this year too, in a Miami team that's really not that great. He is fantastic. He's a long-term safety solution for the Miami Dolphins because I saw Miami. For the Philadelphia Eagles, I think this would just be a home run, a grand slam type of pick for Philadelphia at 32. So as you see here now in round 2, at the first pick in the second round, number 33 overall, the Detroit Lions, they get Tyler Nubin here for me. I think just a long-term solution on the back end, pairing him with Kirby Joseph would be really, really nice. At number 34, you have the Arizona Cardinals, who round out a super solid 2-round mock here with Kamari Lassiter, a true boundary corner that they desperately need. Marco Wilson just gets burnt toast every single week. Xavier Leggett is 6'3", 227 pounds, a little bit of an older wide receiver prospect here for the New England Patriots, but they have their man. They got their man, Caleb Williams. He needs someone to throw to, and Xavier Leggett has some insane random stats that you'll see. I think he's got 14 catches of over 30-plus yards this year, leads the FBS by far. That is an unbelievable stat. Troy Fautanu here at number 36 for the New York Giants. He's listed as a tackle. His best positions at the next level are going to be guard or center, something that easily the Giants desperately need. Obviously, the guard position, John Michael Schmitz has probably been their best offensive lineman besides for Andrew Thomas this year. At 37, you have the Washington Commanders. JT Tuimoloau, pretty simple pick here. He's been really, really good this year. Kind of flip-flops in the first and second round here for me, but just finds an absolutely perfect fit for his frame. 6'4", 275 pounds, perfect fit in a 4-3 defensive end. At 38, the Tennessee Titans take a wide receiver, Xavier Worthy. Just brings a certain, I don't want to say X factor, but brings a certain element to the Tennessee Titans offense that they do not currently possess right now. I think that would just be great for Will Levis. He's got a franchise left tackle now, and he's got a great wide receiver to throw to. And then coming right back around at 39, the Washington Commanders again, Kingsley Suamataia, a freak of an athlete at 6'8". I think he's a little green, but I mean, you can't argue with those intangibles and that athletic ability. I think he'd be an instant upgrade over either tackle that the Washington Commanders currently have. Quinyon Mitchell at number 40 for the Green Bay Packers is someone I really, really like. Corner is a underrated need for the Green Bay Packers. They traded away Rasul Douglas. Eric Stokes can't stay healthy. Jair Alexander has a tough time staying healthy. He's banged up every once in a while as well. Mitchell, great size, 6 foot, 190 pounds, really active hands, super productive. He's got an insane amount of pass deflections this year. He's legit. He really is. I think this is going to be one of my guys that I could see easily flying up draft boards into the very high second round here. I think he offers a lot that a lot of teams are looking for. Kalen Bullock, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers really need to add to their secondary. It starts with Bullock here. At number 42, the Green Bay Packers yet again, they get Leonard Taylor. I really wanted to take a wide receiver here, but I couldn't pass up the pass rushing talent that Leonard Taylor has for the position. It's a need for the Green Bay Packers. I really wanted to go with Brian Thomas, but Taylor just made too much sense for the most part at the pick. At number 43 for the Los Angeles Chargers, they round out a very solid 2-round mock draft here with Jatavion Sanders, super athletic tight end out of Texas. At 44, mentioned him before, Brian Thomas Jr. here. Maybe a pick that a lot of people might not really think makes a whole lot of sense, but outside of Cooper Kupp, who just can't stay healthy, and then Puka Nacua, who is Matthew Stafford or whoever else is throwing the football for the Rams next year going to throw to? They need a big body boundary target, and that's exactly what Brian Thomas is. 6'4", 210 pounds, a really, really great prospect. At number 45, a pick that I've made a few times, Prinsley Uman-Milan, listed as a defensive lineman, probably going to play more of the outside linebacker position, has a nice heavy frame that the Atlanta Falcons are looking for in their rush linebackers. Tyler Guyton is the pick here for me at 46. You know, the right tackle position for the Las Vegas Raiders has just been a turnstile this year. they're going to have to upgrade the position. And Guyton is someone that I really think when he comes into his own is going to be a fabulous offensive lineman at the next level. Tyleik Williams, someone that could move all around the defensive line for the New Orleans Saints. I mean, Tyleik Williams and Brian Bresee next to each other would be a very formidable duo for the next half decade or so. Terrion Arnold at pick number 48 for the Cincinnati Bengals. Another boundary corner is a big-time need for those Cincinnati Bengals. At number 49, you have the Indianapolis Colts, who are getting some really great offensive line versatility from Cooper Beebe. Could play right tackle, could play right guard. He could play on the left side if needed. He could play center even. He's got the body, 6'4", 335 pounds, a really nice big frame. The only thing that worries me is maybe his arm length, but other than that, I think he's an absolutely fantastic prospect. Number 50, Buffalo Bills get Jalen Polk. Really nice first 2 rounds here for the Buffalo Bills. You get Kalen King in round 1 and then Jalen Polk in the other. Another weapon for Josh Allen to throw interceptions to. I'm sorry, it was too easy. I had to. At number 51, you have Jeremiah Trotter, just probably going to start right away in the Eagles' defense. An upgrade at linebacker is definitely needed in my opinion, maybe over Nicholas Morrow, perhaps. At number 52, I couldn't pass up DJ James at number 52 here for the Minnesota Vikings. Just another great SEC boundary corner that could really upgrade Minnesota's secondary. What Brian Flores really should get a lot of credit. He's done a really nice job making that defense a lot better than it should be this year. At 53, you have the New York Giants, yet again, another offensive weapon for Drake May. Now you have Johnny Wilson, 6'6" or 6'7", depending on who you talk to. Incredible frame, incredible catch radius. This is just, it's like, screw it. Johnny's down there somewhere. Let me just hawk it down there 50 yards. That's exactly what he brings to the table. James Williams is someone that's really getting overlooked because of how good Cameron Kinchens is, but maybe Cameron Kinchens is this good because James Williams makes him this good. He's a sensational prospect, really more of a late day 2 type of guy, but I think he could sneak his way into the top 50 or the top 55 it would be here, because this is a big need for the Pittsburgh Steelers going forward. Minkah Fitzpatrick, and then that's pretty much it for the safety position. And this guy is just really good. Hell of a hitter, too. At 55, you have the Houston Texans' Barrett Carter. Adds a really nice upgrade over Blake Cashman in a 4-3. At 56, the Cleveland Browns' only pick of this mock draft, you have Malachi Corley. Maybe not the wide receiver you're necessarily looking for, because he's probably going to play predominantly in the slot, and you got Elijah Moore to play there. But I think is someone that is a gadgety type of player that's not going to bring that 4-3 burner speed. He's 5'11", 205 pounds, but it's almost like he's 295 pounds the way that you have to try and tackle him. He's unbelievably strong. He's incredibly difficult to bring down. This is someone that you could really design plays around, and I think that's exactly what Kevin Stefanski could be looking for in his offense. Jordan Morgan, really nice pickup here for the Dallas Cowboys in round 2. They need offensive tackle help. Tyron Smith is not getting any younger here. 58, Chris Abrams-Drain offers really nice boundary cornerback ability for the San Francisco 49ers. It's becoming a little bit more of a thinner position. T'Vondre Sweat, the best defender in college football. Yes, you heard that right. Could just be a fantastic upgrade in the middle of that defense there. 6'4", 362 pounds. You want to talk about someone that eats up blocks. No one can block T'Vondre Sweat one-on-one. It's physically impossible with that size. Then you have Chris Jenkins here. I was kind of, to be quite honest with you, at 60, I kind of just went best player available. There was really nothing that stood out to me for the Miami Dolphins, but they get another great defensive lineman. Kieran Amagaji at number 61 is someone that, his tape is limited because he plays at Yale, but it's a man against boys the way that he plays against Ivy League competition. It's really sad to watch some of those guys go up against him. It's like he's not even trying, but he's an amazing player. He really is, and it's unfortunate that he's injured for this season, so his tape is going to be even more limited, but I think he's really going to show out at the Combine, at Pro Days, at the East-West Shrine Game, maybe, whatever it may be, because he also has the 99th percentile in arm length, if you could believe that. Christian Haynes, a super athletic guard from UConn. Another small school prospect that you shouldn't let that fool you. He's got all the intangibles and all the athleticism out there. Chop Robinson finally makes an appearance here at the back end of the second round. I really just couldn't find a place that he fit comfortably. And I think Baltimore is that team that would be willing to take a chance on someone as young and talented and as athletic as Chop Robinson. And then rounding out our 2-round mock draft here, Zach Zinter is a player that I really like for the Philadelphia Eagles. Could be that right tackle of the future. Also could play on the interior as well. Just a really nice, versatile piece that I think Howie Roseman would really, really appreciate. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is my 2-round mock draft after week 11 of the 2023 NFL season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope I see you in the next one. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great day.